Rainbow Dreams Educational Foundation presents the 22nd Annual Las Vegas Juneteenth Festival, Saturday, June 17th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Expo at World Market Center. Join us and celebrate Juneteenth Freedom Day as we welcome R&B diva 702 back to Sin City to perform their biggest hits. This event is free to the public. You heard us, free. For more information, visit us online at June19LV.com. That's June19LV.com. Powered by Zappos.
Keep your radio dial right here. You're locked into the hottest news station on the planet. Hot 702.5 in FM sound. Blazing today's hip-hop, R&B, and pop music. Keeping your radio on fire. Bringing you the hottest, realest, riskiest talk shows live 24/7 on hot7025fm.com.
Hey y'all, it's your girl Cheryl Underwood, and you're tuned into the hottest news station on the planet, Hot 702.5.
Hi. Hey.
What's up? All your favorite artists.
Check it out. Say my name. DJ Khaled. This is Mila J. Bruno Mars.
On hot7025fm.com.
It's Kristie J from the Chisholm Report. You're tuned in to Hot 702.5.
This is Kristen Gamer, and you are tuned into my mom, Kristie J.
Come talk shit and politics with Kristie J from the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. on hot7025fm.com.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah, if I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, yeah. Instead of spending billions on the war, I can use that money so I can feed the poor. 'Cause I know some so poor. When it rains, that's when they shower, scream and fight the power. That's when the vulture devours. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, yeah. I know some soldiers that sleep but they can't dream. Wake up with screams, sounds of M16. So take this medal of honor for your bravery. I wish you the best, kid. You and your family. If I was president, I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, but the radio won't play this. They call it rebel music. How can you refuse it? Children of Moses, tell the children the truth. It's not all that bling that's diamond. Tell them the truth. Most of y'all wear cubic zirconium. Tell them the truth, yeah. Your soul is worth more than diamonds.
If I was president, all blacks, I had reparation, no segregation, feed the nation so there's no famine. Muslims, Jews, Christians, with all whole hands every week on the beach. Party by the sand, word up, take trips on Air Force One. Don't need to bring the homeless with no sneaks to Air Force One. Better schools in the hood, better teachers for the classes, making money, paying no tax. Find the best scientists, tell them come up with an answer. I want the cure for AIDS and cancer, but I gotta watch my back. Snipers on the hill with the steel, waiting to jig F kills.
I get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday. If I was president, I feel the rain coming. Let me play my guitar for them right now.
Let's go.
Good morning, and thank you for coming in. This is the Chisholm Report, and this is where we talk shit in politics. My name is Kristie J. I am educated at Southern University. I'm a born and raised native of Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm just here to make sure that we are educated and knowledgeable about what's going on with us with government, policies, and things, and how they apply to our lives on an everyday basis. Like I said, I always want to thank you guys for coming in, because this is like therapy for me. This allows me to be able to sit and kind of give information as the best way I know how, to make sure that we understand it. So first off, let me just say happy Father's Day to all the men out there that are fathers, that are wonderful fathers, that are trying fathers, that are trying their best to do the best they can, fathers. Okay. Thank you for being out there. Thank you for trying your best. And I hope that you use this as a milestone every year to look at yourself and say, as a father, how did I do this year? And set another goal for yourself for next year of what you can do for your kids and how you can make life better for you and your kids. So I had a wonderful father. My father name is Albert Jordan. Okay, he's my grandfather, but he was the best man I have ever met, hands down. I've never heard a bad word about him, and he's basically spoiled it for any man that ever comes this way, because he made sure that we knew what was valuable. He made sure he knew for us to know how valuable we were. And I miss him so much. He's such an encourager and such a protector. And sometimes you need that, So shouts out to all the fathers out there. Happy Juneteenth weekend for everyone who is celebrating it. I've heard some controversy from people saying, oh, we shouldn't be celebrating this, it's going back and forth for me. So I would love for people to call in and give me your reason for celebrating Juneteenth. That's one of my questions for today. 702-551-5261. Also tell me why you're celebrating Father's Day this year. Or if you're celebrating Pride Month, I want to know why you're celebrating, your actual reason, your bottom line, your bottom, what are you believe you're celebrating this for? Okay. Also, I have two cousins that have birthdays this month. Shouts out Monica and Mickey. Hey, okay. Happy birthday. Turn up. All right. So that's just the basis. So like I said, I went to Southern University. I have a political science degree. I was so focused on my community and so focused on things that were happening here in Las Vegas that I came back here and wanted to make sure that I was aware of the situations and policies that were going on here, so we can be able to share together and learn together. I don't know everything. I'm here to learn just like anyone else. So if you have more information, give me a phone call, 702-551-5261. All right. So along with it being Father's Day, it is Dad's Swim Free at the Park and Recs, okay, for tomorrow. And it starts at 1 p.m. tomorrow. And that is at Baker. There's a pool called CMDH at Doolittle, at Garside Municipal, and also the I believe this is the and municipal. So we'll have all of those places where you can take your dad and go for a day of swimming and enjoy, Father's Day on a Sunday. All right. We are having the Las Vegas Juneteenth festival it's the expo at the World Market Center. Okay. And if you're not familiar, when you're on the freeway and you're going past the downtown Premium Mall, it's that big building right next to it. Okay. So if you're looking for something to do today, 4 to 9 p.m. today, it is free parking, free admissions. Come and enjoy yourself. It should be vendors, free, it's music, all type of stuff. So come and enjoy yourself and have a day out with your family. Enjoy and help us celebrate Juneteenth. Okay. My questions for today. Okay, remember I was like expressing I have questions today. Do you know anyone today who has COVID? Let me know. Do you know anyone? Like, think about it. Do you know anyone that you are around or on the news or a celebrity or anything that has COVID right now today? Put it in the comments. I also wanted to know, do you know how much money the taxpayers will be paying for the A's stadium and land? All right, that's another question. Also, name or tag who you believe to be a black leader. No matter where you are, I want to hear who you believe is a black leader for today. And then, once again, that question I had was, why are you celebrating Juneteenth? Why are you celebrating Father's Day? And why are you celebrating Pride Month, which they are all in this June month? Okay, so let's go ahead and get into local news. And so Henderson had their first case of West Nile, a positive case of West Nile with mosquitoes. And if you have not heard, it's all over the news nationally that Nevada is covered in crickets. Now, y'all know that normally we get this like wave of grasshoppers and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on, but now it is crickets in there everywhere. Okay, so if you're not a bug person, this will not be your destination for this summer, okay, because they are coming out, and they still said that the grasshoppers are still coming. All right. Las Vegas Golden Knights celebrate winning the Stanley Cup. And just to give you some information about that, that is also today. There's a parade today. They will start to block off streets going towards the Strip at 3 p.m. The parade does start at 7 p.m. and it is on the Strip. It is free to you. I'm not sure about the parking and stuff like that, but it should be a great time. And if you didn't know, Soulja Boy is performing on Fremont today also. I don't know if you know that, but that's 3 things within the area where you can go and have a great day, spend your day being able to celebrate the win for the Stanley Cup, come out to the Juneteenth, and then show up and see Soulja Boy for free. Okay. So, I have a clip, and this clip, it touches me because it talks about domestic violence and women being killed in domestic violence relationships. Let's go ahead and go into the clip. And
it is kidnapping, the second deadly domestic violence incident. Just within the past week, 8 News Now reporter Joshua Peguero looked into these disturbing crimes. Joshua in studio.
Nevada ranks near the top, Brian, in the country for the number of women murdered by men. And for the victims in these situations, it's not easy to just walk away.
We know that survivors are most at risk when when they're planning to leave, getting ready to leave, and they've left the relationship.
SafeNest offers an emergency shelter and crisis hotline. CEO Liz Ortenberger says the majority of perpetrators and victims experience domestic violence as children, and she recommends investing early, starting in school, to break that cycle.
Supporting our kids at every level that they need it. And really investing in children and traumatized children in general.
Besides Thursday's kidnapping and murder, North Las Vegas police reported a murder-suicide on Wednesday. Police say the man and woman dated when he shot her and then killed himself. The National Coalition of Domestic Violence ranked Nevada in 2017 as 4th in the nation for homicides against women.
If we rank that high with domestic violence and homicides, our community needs to be involved, and we need to be aware.
Linda Perez, CEO of the Shade Tree, is committed to highlighting the problem of domestic violence in Clark County. State data from last year shows 71% of domestic violence victims are women, with an overwhelming number of their offenders a current or former significant other. In only 2% of cases, a handgun was used. A domestic violence survivor herself, Perez says, be free of judgment if you want to help a loved one.
Don't attack them. Don't question them. You know, you're better than that. Like, reach out to one of us as a resource, and we can kind of talk to you.
Now, Brian, on average, there are about 100,000 911 calls a year in Clark County reporting domestic violence. Resources at both Safe Nest and Shade Tree are free. Brian?
Okay, so thank you. I don't, just to be transparent, I had a family member that was killed in a domestic violence situation, and literally to see that play out, and for that person to have children at that time, and still trying to still having to go to school behind losing their parent and everything. You just see all that happen and how it affects them and how it affects their life. And I'll tell you, it's like, to know that happened so much here in Nevada, and just in that same situation, the same day that the person that I know was unalived by her ex-husband, they denied her a restraining order. And this happens over and over and over here in Nevada. So just making aware to it, if you know somebody dealing with that situation, Safeness, Shade Tree, and you can also call 211 if you are in that type of situation and you need somewhere to go and you got to get out. Okay, so they have different options. Some are hotels, sometimes it's apartments, sometimes it's in a shelter. But if you're trying to get out of that situation, I pray that you are able to find someone to help you get out of that situation. All right. It bothered me because it said that we were #1 ranked for women being murdered by men in the country. Okay. This was a reference by National Coalition of Domestic Violence. Okay. So it's very sad, and we don't want to keep hearing these situations. I know last year I heard about it, and I have a friend who lost their mother in the same situation, and your heart goes out for them because there's nothing that you can do to be able to fix the situation for them. So we're gonna go on to a new subject. Dealing with the stadium. Remember, I asked you what your question was. The question was, do you know how much taxpayers are going to have to pay for the land and the stadium for the A's? Let's go ahead and go into that clip.
A bill for Las Vegas ballpark heads to the governor's desk, and it comes after an 8-day round-the-clock special session with heated debate.
The bill did get enough votes in the Assembly and the Senate, but not by a huge margin. Clark County lawmaker says some key changes put it over the edge.
I'm very bullish on Las Vegas. Now we're well on our way of establishing ourselves as one of the great destinations for sports.
Besides the promise of construction jobs and a new major tourist attraction, Assemblyman Ruben De Silva of Clark County explains key changes to the ballpark bill led to more support and his support. In the past week, lawmakers in the Senate and Assembly asked for language to mandate how the A's give back. Community benefits include a livable wage, $2 million a year in donations, higher ed scholarship donations and workforce improvements, a committee to oversee the checklist and legal remedies for noncompliance. Other key amendments, locking in the Tropicana Hotel as the site. To better protect Nevada's finances, language amended for bond programs and repayment, making the state treasurer a member of the Stadium Authority, some revenue diverted to fund affordable housing in Clark County, and a mandate of 12 weeks family and medical leave for workers of companies with tax abatements that Governor Lombardo had vetoed.
That was absolutely crucial. A strong focus on the community. I see it only getting even stronger.
See approximately 15,000 good-paying jobs during construction.
Proud of Las Vegas and how we continue to reinvent ourselves.
Opponents, however, question benefits to the whole state, why tax abatements were being given to a strip property, and the value of hundreds more low-skilled jobs at every ballpark game, and how tax incentives could go to plenty of other needs across Nevada.
Giving millions of dollars to a billionaire while our constituents are telling us they don't want this, and our constituents are asking us to invest in their communities.
When you're asking for a tax incentive that can eat into those social services that the rest of the state do use.
And De Silva says there were different polls that lawmakers were privy to across Nevada. It showed that support and opposition was pretty split, and lawmakers had to make tough decisions.
Okay. So we are going to pay for the land $380 million, okay? For the stadium, we are going to pay $5.1 billion for the stadium, okay? They are supposed to give us charity, right? For $2 million a year, right? And this is a private owned company, so we get no state taxes, all right? And then along with that, they only spent $2.1 billion on education, but they spend $5.1 billion on this stadium. It doesn't seem like we have our priorities right. And that's our money, not government money. And they're spending it on this team when we have a homeless problem, when the education fund is only at $2.1 billion, but you spend $5.1 billion for a stadium. You elected these people. We are responsible. All right. So, to me, it makes no sense. I understand that we want pro teams and everything else, and the next thing is they're gonna go for an NBA team, okay? And we already pay so much tax, so many taxes for the Golden Knights. We pay so many taxes for the Aces and also for the Raiders. It is take care of the rich and let the poor be poor, because they also did a budget, right? And the budget for the country is them taking away $6 plans from poor people, not from the rich people who are now getting a tax cut on their stadium that they want to put here. Okay? So I'm not really happy with that. I really don't like the fact that he passed the bill, and that bill was nope. I'm gonna go into his bill when I talk about national stuff, so y'all can I can pinpoint some stuff for you. Let's go ahead and go into Black news. Black news. If you didn't know, a couple of weeks ago, a Black Olympian passed away for complications with childbirth, and finding out while I'm watching this, finding out that Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than a white woman. It bothers me because they used us as experiments in slavery and beforehand. Used us as experiments to use our body to be able to save everybody else, and they can't save us. They don't know how. Okay? They said that it was 1,200 deaths last year of women in childbirth. 80% of those women were Black. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
Recently lost American track and field champion Tori Bowie, and in the last day we learned that she died from complications of childbirth. In the medical examiner's report, it mentions eclampsia as one of those complications. It is a condition that African American women are at a higher risk for. Charmaine Nero has more on Bowie's death and the risks that all pregnant women should know about.
You know, just being thankful at all times.
This is world champion sprinter Tori Bowie during a previous interview. The 32-year-old 3-time Olympic medalist died at her Florida home back in May. And this week, the Orange County Medical Examiner's Office released an autopsy report stating she died from complications of childbirth. Bowie was 8 months pregnant, and there was evidence she went into labor.
You know, when I first heard about the story, my first reaction was, not again.
Representative Ruth Richardson is the chair of the Black Maternal Health Caucus here in Minnesota.
It has been a problem for decades and, in fact, centuries.
Roughly 700 women die each year in the United States as a result of pregnancy or delivery complications. And according to the CDC, Black women are 3 times more likely to die from a pregnancy-related cause than white women due to multiple factors.
And one of the reasons that there has been a light shown on this issue is because when you have people like Tori Bowie and you have people like Serena Williams, who almost died of a pregnancy related cause, that it sort of creates this light that is shined on something that's been going on within communities for a number of years.
Now she's hoping to continue raising awareness to prevent another death during childbirth.
Okay, so just so you guys know that there are different programs here in Nevada that and you can look on the back of your health card and be able to get to a provider to be able to help to make sure that you are doing everything you need for your pregnancy, post and pre, whatever the case may be. Go ahead and make those coochies healthy. All right, we don't want we have to be able to do something about this, because when they say 80% of 1,200 deaths last year were Black women, there's a problem. And we have to make ourselves aware. There's things that we have to talk about. And sometimes it takes a woman to let another woman know, but sometimes it takes a man to tell you, like, hey, you know what? I read about this and I'm concerned, and to sit down and have these conversations, because a lot of it comes from a lot of problems and that women have are because we're having sex with men who are not cleaning themselves correctly, or sleeping with a whole bunch of women, or he don't know what he's using on his body, or you know what I mean, a lot of that, or he has acidic sperm. You never know what it is, but you want to be able to have that conversation with your partner, like, hey, you know, you ain't smelling that fresh. I'm not going there. You know what I'm saying? Who else you sleeping with? You need to ask these questions so you don't end up having additional problems with your cooch. Okay, so if you guys have not heard about the police officers that the charges were dropped because, okay, so these police officers so-called found this girl who overdosed. They said overdosed on fentanyl. Okay, she was pregnant. All right, and they said that that they took her and dumped her into a dumpster, and then they set her on fire. But they are dropping the charges for these police officers. Let's go ahead and go into the clip. We'll talk.
For the people who dumped a woman's body here, we'll give you the update. The torch body of Michaela Charlemagne, 25 years old, found last year in Antioch, California. Prosecutors dropped charges against 2 men accused in the mutilation of her body. The background on the cause of death. Medical examiner determined that Charlemagne died of fentanyl overdose, noting that her family had attended all of the court dates in her sister's death, including the preliminary hearing where a judge determined if prosecutors have sufficient evidence to make a defendant stand trial. NBC News with the reporting. Nicole Leeson said that during court testimony, Ashton Montalvo and D'Angelo Boone were accused of dumping her sister's body in a dumpster they grabbed from a nearby building after she overdosed at an abandoned apartment in Antioch, city of roughly 114,000. It's northeast San Francisco. The men were captured on security cameras borrowing a dolly from a 7-Eleven, pushing the dumpster 4 blocks to a paved trail where witnesses from a nearby homeless encampment saw them allegedly pour lighter fluid into the dumpster and set Charmaine's body on fire, Eason said. Roughly a week later, after her family reported the 25-year-old is missing, Eason said authorities confirmed her death. Now, after Charlemagne's family reported the 25-year-old missing, the victim's mother said authorities confirmed her death. She compared the events to labor pains. I didn't have the joy of getting the baby out, she said. We got death instead. Charlemagne's family blasted the DA's decision to drop the charges, calling the move unacceptable, telling NBC News that her family was devastated after learning the detective who helped solve the case was part of the racist text scandal that plagued the department. The scandal came out after my sister's death. Nicole Eason told NBC News it shouldn't have had any bearing on the evidence. There's more on the text scandal. In April, a Contra Costa County judge released the names of 17 Antioch, California police officers who stand accused of using racial slurs, making racist jokes, sharing racist memes in text threads over a period of 2 years. The list of 17 names also included 5 officers who are already under FBI investigation for alleged crimes.
How disgusting. I don't even know what to say. Why would they be dropping the charges? If I went, right, and I found somebody, I found a homeless person. I found a dead person before at the church, me and my cousin Marcel, right? Why would I need to move this body? Why would I need to put this body in a dumpster? And why would I need to burn this body? If I'm the police officer and I find a fentanyl overdosed girl, why not call the ambulance? If she's able to be revived, then she goes to jail for being under the influence of fentanyl or whatever the case may be. Why would you have to move this body, put it in a dumpster, and then burn it? And why are the charges being dropped? And why is no one saying anything about this? And along with, let's keep talking about police. Why are the police involved in so they found out that the police, there was an officer who was feeding information to the Proud Boys into the Capitol in January 6th. We knew that, right? But nothing's happening to this person. Why in Mississippi there's an investigation about the police department taking black men into the woods and then hunting for niggas? Why is it not mainstream news that this is going on? Why in Pittsburgh department is now being dismantled because of discrimination and because they're still using chokeholds even after killing a man, and they said he shot at them once and they shot at him over 100 times. Why are these things not being brought to the forefront? And I'll say it again, it's our fault. This is our fault because we have representatives that do not represent us, and we allow it because we say stuff like, my vote doesn't matter. But these are the people who are able to, your district attorney, your attorney general, all these people, these are the people who are able to prosecute problems like this. Your judges. What judge sat there and said, we're going to drop these charges? Y'all, this is sick. And this is something that we are dealing with internally. And until we figure out that they are not going to do for us, and then we're going to have to do it on our own. We're going to have our own in-care health care. We're going to have our own food banks and food production. We're going to have to do it ourselves. When they talk about this student loan stuff, take your kid and let them go to a black school if they're going to go to school. Take your kid and make sure that if they're going to a trade school, they're going to a trade school that is going to be able to put back into our community. It is too much. And that brings me to my next question. With all of this stuff going on, I hear all the bickering from the black leaders. Remember, I asked you to put who you believe is a black leader, tag their ass and put it in a post. This is the problem I have. When I'm looking for guidance, my so-called black leaders that was running around here were talking about The Little Mermaid, arguing about cartoons and stuff like that. Oh, we mermaids. I said that and all the rest of stuff. This is ridiculous. All you do within each other is knock each other, cut each other down, talk bad about each other. Don't listen to this one. Don't listen to Dr. This. Don't listen to this person. This person don't know what he's talking about. He's a crook. He's a this. But you don't say shit about these other people, these clear and beiges. You don't say nothing. You say nothing. I got a person who I look up to so much, okay, as for their knowledge and everything else that they're able to bring to the table for our people. And they spend their time arguing online, losing the people who are there to learn the lesson because they want to argue with fools that you can't persuade them. Their whole purpose of being on your live is to be able to cut you down, to be able to get you off your session or lesson. Okay. And this is what you do. You talk bad about each other, and then you end up being like lightweight Trump supporters and dogging women's rights and everything else behind it. But you don't have no solutions. You'll say, y'all not supposed to be celebrating Juneteenth, but tell me what I'm supposed to be celebrating then. Bring it to me. I like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not smart. I don't have everything. I don't know everything. I am not knowledgeable about everything. Okay? I'm learning just like anyone else. Bring your personal knowledge, and don't bring it with the audacity that you should have known this type attitude, or I'm going to cut you down, or I'm better than you because I know this. And that is not going to bring your people in. It's going to keep you divided. It's going to keep our leaders from being divided. We were supposed to be able to put our leaders together from all different angles. They're supposed to be a leader for education. They're supposed to be a leader for defense. They're supposed to be a leader for media. They're supposed to be a leader for health and medical. There should be a leader for everything out there. And we should be able to lean on these people with the knowledge that they will do us and lead us in the right direction. But all we do is sit up and talk shit about each other and never having a solution and never having support for each other. So that's where we're at. We just go stay divided, right? And then while we stay divided and you see how this country is happening, you see that it looks like we're about to go to war. Everybody else is going to be protected by their neighborhood. Why? Because they're putting their stuff together. They're not going to need the government assistance. They're not going to need any of that because they're going to be able to stay within their community and help each other. We won't even live together. We get a little money and we move. I got to get up out of here. I got to get up out of the west side. I don't want to live on the north side. I want to live by the white people. I want to live in Anthem, okay? Because they be shooting over there when they do mass murders and stuff in Anthem, no. Okay? You might have to dodge a bullet on D Street, but you'll be able to dodge that one bullet. They over there doing the most over there, okay? We have to be able to come together. And it bothers me so bad when I'm sitting up and I'm like, ooh, okay, he talking about a subject that I love. Let me hear this history. And then for 15 minutes, they're arguing with somebody that they will never persuade, that's not going to help them get likes or love. They are not there for the lesson. So I lose my concentration, and then I'm playing dominoes. I'm playing spades. Okay, I didn't start watching something else and lost when I should have been into the lesson and getting excited about an upcoming event that you're doing or an upcoming lesson that you're doing. I can't, because if this is what you do online, with sitting up arguing with people instead of being able to tell your people the lesson, then I'm not paying for me to come and listen to you talk about how you can body other leaders in a discussion. Thank you. That's my rant. I don't like that. I feel like so much argument on we shouldn't be calling ourselves black, we shouldn't be calling ourselves African American, we shouldn't be calling ourselves Negroes. Well, Nick, what am I supposed to call me then? I'm not there yet. I haven't learned everything yet. Point me in the right direction. Tell me the books I'm supposed to read. You telling me that these are not my thing, these are not me, but who am I? Help me figure this out. If we are supposed to be as a people and we're supposed to come together, if you have the knowledge, you're supposed to be passing it on. Not sitting there thinking you're better than everybody else because you have the knowledge. Okay, I'm off of it. Anyway, it's free shit to do today for Juneteenth, y'all. Get out there, okay? Because we are going to be at the expo, getting it in at the World Market Center today, okay? Free parking, free admission. All right, let's go ahead and go into some national news. If you are looking for a job, there are 3 top companies who are hiring. Now, just like they were saying in that video talking about the Aces, sorry, not the Aces, the A's is going to bring in all these jobs. Yeah, they go bring in low-income jobs. And that's and construction jobs. The construction jobs are going to be at the beginning because they got to put it in there. And then all you're going to get is usher, food handler, parking attendant. Okay, so don't let them fool you talking about, oh, they bringing in all these jobs that if you are holding a degree or more, if you are in a union or more, this is not going to be appealing to you, and this is not the type of jobs that you want. Tell them to get somebody else to do it. Okay, so 3 companies who are hiring. Amazon is hiring for 100,000 jobs nationwide for fulfillment and also delivery. Walmart is hiring 100,000 for in-store distributing and also fulfillment. And Lowe's is hiring 30,000 people for retail and also distributing. Okay, so if you're looking for a job, if you're trying to get somebody a job, look into those. Those are hiring. All right. I did have a clip. This clip is in talking about the GOP senators unveiling their position and their bill of what they think we should be doing about student debt and student loan. Let's go. So one of the things that I didn't like about it was that it's going to limit you from being able to pick what school you think you could go to. So let's go ahead and go into the clip.
A Supreme Court decision on President Biden's debt forgiveness plan, that's expected any day now. Tarek Miner is joining us. And Tarek, in the meantime, Senate Republicans, they're announcing their own plan to address America's student debt crisis.
They certainly are, Ken. The GOP debt forgiveness package is called the Lowering Education Costs and Debt Act. It aims to provide relief to more than 45 million Americans facing skyrocketing higher education costs.
Well, as an attorney for the state of Florida that has student loans, and I've been practicing for over 20 years, yes, I think some help is needed for people that give their entire career to public service.
Proponents of student loan forgiveness, like local attorney Jan Abel, are still waiting to find out what the future holds when it comes to more than $1.6 trillion in outstanding U.S. student debt. In August 2022, President Biden announced a plan to cancel at least $10,000 in student debt. That plan was met with several legal challenges, 2 of which landed before the Supreme Court, prompting Republicans to come up with a plan of their own.
I'm just waiting on an email to tell me if they're going to forgive it or not. So why can't they just forgive the whole thing? At least for the freshmen. Forgive the whole balance.
The GOP's plan is made of 5 pieces of legislation that reform the college data reporting system to make more information about graduation rates and debt after graduation more accessible. There would also be a requirement to educate students about loan plans, including expected monthly payments after graduation. One of the bills also cuts down on student loan repayment options from 9 different plans to 2. And another key part of the GOP's plan would also end Graduate Plus loans, which have no borrowing limit. So if the Supreme Court does strike down President Biden's debt relief program, which is a possibility, the forgiveness program, Republican lawmakers are expected to push their 5 bills through Congress next. Stay.
Okay, so they're calling this the GOLD Act, okay? And they're basically saying you need to be educated about the loans that's out there, and they're not doing any more loan forgiveness. If a loan is a contract, And if you said you were going to pay it, then you're going to need to pay it. Okay. Maybe you shouldn't be trying to go to the bigger schools. You should have seen the way that they were talking about this. Maybe you should pick better schools with lower amounts so you don't end up with debt. Okay. They said that what they're going to do is they're going to cap the government funding at a certain amount of money. Okay. And then they're going to try to tell the schools, which they're not going to be able to do, that if they give a certain amount of money, if the government says they're going to grant a certain amount of money, you can't go up in the tuition. Okay, this is what's happening right now in childcare, just to give you an idea. If the government gave this big grant of $50 million, okay, to different organizations within Nevada to be able to pay childcare for low-income families, okay, this would have been great, okay, for all those families, because the daycare centers were going to get more money. And the parents wouldn't be able to have to come out of pocket so much. Everybody was going to be happy. The daycares raised their prices. What sense did that make? If this was supposed to help the parents, daycare right now is like $1,200. No joke. If you're trying to get your kid into a good place. So this is something crazy. All right. They said they're cutting that. They're going to. This is their counteract of Biden saying just forgive it, and Biden saying just forgive $10,000 of it, and they're saying don't forgive nothing. All right, so elections are coming. All right, and with that being said, with the credits, I mean with the collections and stuff calling you about the student loans, Lombardo vetoed AB 223. Okay, he said no to this bill, and this was requiring collections agencies to have proof of payoff letter to prove that they own your loan before they contact you or at your request. Why, Lombardo? Tell me why you would say no to that. Tell me who's paying you to say no to that bill. Call in, Lombardo, 702-551-5261. All right. Donald Trump, I'm going to go over Donald Trump real quick. Okay. I've been saying for months that he going to be y'all first felon president. Okay. But I'm thinking he's probably going to be more like felon vice president. I think that whoever is Biden's going to be first. Okay. So the deal is this: if he ends up going to jail and they put handcuffs on him, he becomes like a martyr. So he gonna be like the white Mandela out here, okay? They like fight the power type stuff, and he going to jail for their rights and all type of stuff, and it will be bad. So if Biden pardons him and he doesn't go to trial, okay, it basically just clears the slate, but it will still, I guess he'll still have a felony. So he won't be able to be president, but he can be vice president, right? So if Biden doesn't pardon him and he ends up going to jail or whatever, and a Republican pardons him, you can hang it up. They're going to win this election, okay? And they just made this man a hero. So Biden, what you going to do? 702-551-5261. International news. Netflix got their lick back, didn't they? They sure cut mine off. I'm so upset. Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm going to tell. I am not happy with the fact that y'all did this to me. I was living perfectly off of somebody else's account. Now I can't get it. I got to buy my own. It sucks. But today, Yeah. They sent me the little thing saying, you do not live at this household. You either have to mark that you are traveling or something else. Totally messed me up, okay? Because I was in the middle of some good stuff, okay? And I just am so upset by it, all right? So Netflix, count your days. But I got a clip about it. Let's go ahead and go into the clip.
The Netflix crackdown on password sharing has led to thousands of new subscribers.
10 News reporter Abby Coleman's working for you to find out how this change could transform the streaming industry.
The time for living off of friends and family's Netflix accounts is officially over. The streaming giant is cracking down on password sharing. Virginia Tech economics professor Jadrian Wooten says it's been a long time coming.
I think they know that they needed to do it. They were seeing flattening, so they weren't growing subscribers.
But complaints are growing around the country. Grad student Camden Phillips used his family's account for years, but he just received word he can no longer access the account.
This device is not a part of your household, and you'll have to either create a new account or make this the primary household. And my mom still uses it back in Grayson County, so I wasn't gonna, make this the primary device.
Netflix is offering a secondary account for $8 a month.
It's a little frustrating, but then at the same time remembering it's not that you're necessarily buying two accounts, you're sort of getting 1.5 accounts.
Phillips says the new restrictions are unfair to college students who are simply out of the house for school.
We don't have a lot of disposable income, and we've been using that account forever, and it's never been an issue. So, why is it an issue now?
While many people thought Netflix would see a further drop in numbers, they've already added several 100,000 new accounts.
And it's really hard for people to give up things that they've been doing, especially if it's something that they've been using for 10, 15 years of their life.
No other streaming services have implemented a password sharing policy, but Wooten says they won't be far behind. Abby Coleman, 10 News, working for you.
I tell you, I was hurt, okay? I was like, Netflix, really? This was working out for me perfectly. Now, to be honest, I really don't need it all that much. Netflix, you don't have all the good stuff anymore. And I can go to Peacock now. So just to give a shout out to, well, not a shout out, sorry. Saudi Arabia bought golf, all the golf, every piece of it. Every piece of it. They even offered Tiger Woods $800 million or something like that to come to do a tour. So PGF Tours basically sold it. They sold their piece. So now Saudi Arabia owns golf. Every piece of it, I guess. Okay. That's my international news. I appreciate you guys. Thank you again for coming in and sitting with me. I like to make sure that you guys are informed about what's going on the country. I like you to know what the bills and the candidates and stuff that we have here. Shouts out to Twix, Robert Taylor, who is running for City Council of North Las Vegas. I hope you get it. There's a couple of different people else. We're going to start getting people in here so you guys can see these names and see these people and put them to them so you can be able to mark them off on your ballots. If you see somebody out there grinding, let them know you see them shining. I appreciate you guys, and I'll be back here on the Chisholm Report every Saturday at 10 a.m. I am Kristie J.
Yeah, election time's coming. Who you gonna vote for? Yeah. If I was president, I'd get elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday. They go back to work on Monday.